Now we've moved into our brand new kitchen and we're testing out our new oven with dessert this morning.
Krissy Gibson from Take the Cake joins us today. Chef #1 in our new kitchen.
Yes.
Wow.
Thanks, guys.
Right, what have we got?
Morning.
Thanks for having me. So today we're making crack pie, which I guess very few people will have heard of, as really no one in Ireland does it. I'm happy to say that I believe I'm the only person in Ireland who has it on their menu.
Excellent.
This is one of my only desserts on my menu that isn't, one of my only desserts that isn't my own recipe. This comes out of New York. Christina Tosi actually made this by accident her first time.
Really?
And the staff at her restaurant where she made it was so crazy about it that she made it a thing. Nice. And she serves it at her own place. It's a really sweet pie. And so if you don't have a sweet tooth, it might not appeal to you. But I happen to love it.
You're in good company.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is my oldest son's favorite, and he always asks for it for his birthday. Now, you might notice there's a lot of stuff out, and that's because there are a lot of steps to this pie.
By the way, it's my birthday tomorrow.
Yeah. You'd never have known.
No, I know.
He's very low-key about it.
I've been telling her since June.
It's very casual.
Yeah.
Happy
but
birthday.
so we can pretend it's a
birthday cake for
All
Simon.
right, well,
okay.
I'll leave you some sweets then.
Yeah,
How does that sound?
Thank you.
So there are a few steps to this
Right.
pie. There are 3 steps, in fact. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a softened bit of butter. This is a 1/4 pound of butter, and I'm going to add some brown sugar to it. This is light muscovado sugar, about 75 grams. The recipe that I put up on the website, on your website, is the metric version of it, which is new for me.
Yeah, because your cups and
Yeah, this
half
is
a cup of this, 2 cups of
Yeah,
that.
I know. It's desperate, isn't it? This is 40 grams of caster sugar. If you want to use granulated sugar, that works too. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
You know, I have to tell you, I have seen this recipe posted a few different ways online, and I don't know what that's about. I have a feeling that since Christina Tosi sort of made this up on a whim, she's evolved the recipe a little bit over time. So I've seen at least 3 different, slightly varied versions of crack pie, only ever so slightly different.
But different nonetheless.
Yes.
Slightly.
But that's what happens when something gets really popular.
I've tried them all.
Okay.
And
I
I can tell you, I have made every mistake there is to make
with this pie.
making crack pie. And I think in the metric version, it says to use an egg yolk in this bit. I use a full egg. What we're doing right now is we're making a cookie. We're making an oatmeal
the cookie dough.
This is just a really basic oatmeal cookie that we're gonna bake and crumble up for the crust. Okay, we're gonna make our own cookie crust. So it takes an egg. We're gonna go ahead and put that in, mix it up. Do you know something? I could have brought my food processor today, and the last time I was here, I was competing with the food processor all day. So I decided to spare you guys of that noise today. So we've got a 1/4 pound of butter, 75 grams of light muscovado sugar, 40 grams of caster sugar or granulated, an egg. And we're gonna add just a little bit of baking powder. And about 1/8 of a teaspoon. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm gonna add about half of that. It's just the tiniest bit. We just want the cookie to rise up a little bit. This is baking soda, bread soda, bicarbonate, and that's another, just say a 1/4, 1/8 of a teaspoon. Now, in one of the variations of this recipe that I've seen online, there was no salt. I always use salt. I've always used salt with crack pie.
Just to balance out the flavors.
Yeah, see, the first, when I discovered crack pie, it was a few years ago when all this hype was online. It went viral. It just got so popular overnight. So the first recipe that was sort of published, it had salt in it. That's the one I've been using. So even though the metric version online doesn't have salt in it, you can use a little bit. You know, maybe a pinch or even a 1/4 teaspoon. So I put a little bit of salt in there. And then we're gonna add 300 grams of self-raising flour, or you could use bread flour. This is, I always tend to use self-raising. Bread flour, and then we're gonna add about 120 grams of raw porridge oats, So what we have here is a really simple oatmeal cookie. If you notice that it's a little bit dry,
Yes.
you could add another egg white if you wanted to. The original recipe that I started using a few years back called for 2 eggs in the cookie. I've seen it listed online using 1 egg. I've seen it only calling for 1 egg yolk.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling Christina Tosi has been sort of adjusting her recipe as she
gone
goes.
along, yeah.
So what I like to do is I generally use 1 egg. Now I didn't do a great job mixing this up today, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We're gonna bake this
We're gonna forgive you for that.
at about 180 degrees
Okay.
for, let's say, 15 minutes. When you make your cookie at home, yours is going to be a little moister than this.
A little more doughy.
Yeah, a little bit more
Okay.
doughy.
Okay.
And this is really, look, this does not have to be a pretty cookie at all.
Yeah.
You're just gonna,
you're gonna crumble this up
you're
anyway
crumbling
when
it
it's
up.
cooked.
This is
Okay.
not getting served to anybody like this,
And we're
okay?
gonna cook that at what? 180?
About 180 degrees Celsius.
For about what, 12 minutes? Something
No,
like that?
let's call it 15.
15 minutes.
Until
okay.
you find that it's golden brown.
Okay.
Okay. so keep an eye.
Yeah, it'll go kind of puffy, and then set it aside.
Okay.
You want to break it up and put it in your food processor. If you don't have a food processor, don't panic. That's okay. I've looked at pictures of crack pie online, and some of them have crusts that are really like a fine powder, like mine tends to be. I've seen big chunks of cookie in the crust.
Yes.
So
We've got 2 minutes left, Krissy.
Okay, so we're gonna make the crust now, and this is the cookie that we just made,
And crumbles.
crumbled, and I added about 15 grams of light muscovado sugar and another 1/4 pound
So
of
this
butter.
is the result of what's going to come out of the oven?
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
okay.
Now, I'm not going to use all of this, actually, because the pie crust that we have made together is actually for 2 pies. This recipe is 2 pies.
So it's a double.
2 pies, okay.
Each time you make this, you're making 2 pies. And if you're wondering, what the heck am I going to do with 2 pies? Trust me, you're going to want 2 pies. So this is 300 grams of castor sugar.
Yep.
We've got 180 grams of light muscovado sugar. We have 20 grams of milk powder. You can find this in the baking section of any grocery store. Again, a little bit of salt, even if it doesn't call for it on the metric version, like an eighth of a teaspoon
pinch.
maybe.
Okay.
And then once I've got all the dry ingredients in the bowl, I'm gonna mix those up. I'm gonna add a dash of vanilla extract. I don't use vanilla essence.
Extract, okay.
Maybe, yeah, you asked me once what's the difference,
Yeah.
and it's stronger. This is about 180 milliliters of full fat cream, okay?
Yeah, baby.
Now, I've forgotten to add the butter. We've got melted butter. You want it to be good and hot. This is a 1/2 pound, okay?
Wow.
And I know there's a lot of. Did I mention
We are
there's a lot of
definitely
butter in this
not
recipe?
counting calories this weekend, Krissy.
Well, it's a birthday weekend.
It's a birthday weekend.
Yeah, this is Simon's birthday pie. So this is going to be nice and creamy. We're at the last step here, guys. 8 egg yolks. All right. This is not a non-fat pie. 8 egg
Baby.
yolks, and here we have our filling. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add this, even though it's not very well mixed. I'm only going to add half of it because this is, of course, 2
Double,
pies.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You bake that in the oven for about 15 minutes, and then after you bake it for 15 minutes, you lower the temperature about by 20 degrees, just about, and then you bake it for another, say, 10, 15 minutes.
Let's
okay?
taste this bad boy.
Now I have this one that's done. Once you've got it done, you have to chill it overnight. You have to eat it cold. You're not eating this warm.
Okay.
This is a cold pie.
This is a cold pie, okay.
Since we're short on time, I've got these 2 sliced for you
well
too.
done, okay.
Now, don't bite in yet. I'm going to give you a little tip, guys. Okay, I hate to micromanage.
Yeah.
But the best bite is in the back. Oh, sorry. The best bite is in the back corner.
The back corner.
Simon. Yes.
So that's this one
So
over
this
here.
is the back
Sorry
corner,
about that,
is it?
Yeah,
Anna.
baby, that's the back corner,
Here we go.
baby.
Try that again.
Oh, lovely, okay.
Because,
Wow.
and I'll tell you why. It's that bit of crust in the back that meets with the pie itself that is just so divine. I hope you like it. Did I mention it's sweet?
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that good?
It's sticky as well, isn't it?
It is a gooey pie.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
She's
Don't
got it
forget,
going on.
Krissy's recipe is on our website, or you can
good?
check out everything for yourself. She'll be at Red Stables Market in Dublin's Raheny today and Herbert Park Market tomorrow.
Delish. After the break, Laura will be sussing out what's on offer for the little ones at this year's Electric Picnic. Thank you, Krissy.
You're so
Oh, my
welcome.